Hello, I'm going through these intervals. So these go from second, third, fourth up to the fifth. Just to review, we have two notes side by side. We call that a second. We call that a third, fourth, fifth. And then of course we have larger intervals than that, but we're only doing up to the fifth today. So I'll go through these. Keep in mind that first one there, both notes are on a line. So a third will look like that, or else it'll look like both notes on a space, like the second one. So again, that's a third. When we get a little bit further down, we'll have both notes on a line, but with one empty in between, and that'll be a fifth. And the same thing, both notes on a space, but one empty in between. That's what a fifth can look like as well. Okay, so I'll go through the whole page. So starting at the beginning, you can see the bottom note is C, and I'm putting a third above it. The second one, the bottom note is D, I'm putting a third above it. Next one, bottom note is E, and I'm putting a second with it. Next one, bottom note is D, I'm putting a third with it. Next one, bottom note is still D, you're putting a second with it. Next one. Now we keep on going. Now we have a fourth. So a fourth is always going to look like that. One note will be written on a line and the other one on a space. Okay, so there's the fourth. And you hear it sounds like it wants to resolve. It's a little bit dissonant, we call that. So I just played the third there. Next measure, I have another third, but with a G at the bottom this time. Now here comes the fourth. You notice there's a note on a line and a note on a space. Third again. Now here's a second, bottom note is A. Next line. Another third. Fourth. Notice that the top note is going to stay the same now. Good to watch for that. You can see I'm going down for the next one, so F at the bottom. And here's a fifth. And you notice there's an empty space in between them when you have a fifth. So both notes on a space, or both notes on a line, but one empty. And it actually sounds, the fifth sounds a little bit empty as well, right? It sounds like it might need to be filled in by something. Okay, next one, a fourth. Now I'm up to measure 10. Again, that's a fifth, a third, another fifth, a fourth, third, second, third, fourth, fifth, second, third, fourth, fifth, fourth, third, second, fifth, fourth, third, another third, fifth, third, fourth, third. So you notice that in general I was reading from the bottom up. I was reading the bottom note of each interval and then adding the interval above it there. A few exceptions, like there are times when the top note stays the same. Like if you look at measure 16, so I have a fifth, and notice that the top note is going to stay the same. So in this case, the easiest way to read that is to read from the top down, because you have something that's staying the same. So very, very efficient way of reading that. But in general, I recommend reading them from the bottom up.